Hello, thank you for tuning in to this 2025 primary election candidate forum for the Port of Olympia Position 3. This forum is presented by the League of Women Voters of Thurston County in collaboration with Thurston Community Media. The League of Women Voters is proud to be nonpartisan, neither supporting nor opposing candidates or political parties at any level of government. I am Valley Needham Heisman with the League, and I will be moderating this forum. Sally Knoll is our timer. The Port of Olympia is a Washington State special purpose corporation serving all of Thurston County. The port owns and operates 4 distinct business lines: Swantown Marina and Boatyards, Seaport, Olympia Regional Airport, and Real Estate Portfolio. There are 3 candidates participating in this forum: Krog Unsold, Anthony Hempstead, and Rebecca Faust. They will have 1 minute to answer each question and will also be able to give a closing statement. We stress the importance of civility in our forums. Krog, Anthony, and Rebecca, do you agree to abide by the rules of this forum?
Yes.
Yep.
Thank you. Beginning with Krog, the first question is, why are you running for the Port of Olympia?
Well, thank you for that question. The Port of Olympia is facing some major decisions regarding its operations. The export of logs from the seaport is facing new challenges. The restoration of the Deschutes estuary is going to impact the seaport and the marina operations of the port. Based on comments and testimony, the public is largely against any expansion of operations at the airport. Climate change is going to cause sea level rise, intensify weather events, and further threaten marine and upland biodiversity. All these challenges require intergovernmental coordination. My professional experience makes me an ideal candidate to help guide the port in charting a new course. This will also be my first time holding public office. Serving on the port will continue my extensive record of public service. I want to help ensure that the Port of Olympia is something in which all Thurston County residents can take pride.
Thank you. Rebecca?
Thank you. My name is Rebecca, and I'm running for Port because I wanted to get more involved in public service in my community and public office. And I looked at the positions that were available this year, and Port just seemed like the best fit, also considering where there were other candidates that I liked for some of the other positions. And so that was kind of my backstory to it. As far as issues, I want to make sure that the port is being responsible with its business lines and not giving sweetheart deals to some businesses or anything like that. That's probably platform-wise. And yeah, that's what I got.
Okay, Anthony.
Thank you, Valley. Currently, I volunteer on the Port of Olympia Citizen Advisory Board, and I chair that organization's Economic Development Committee. When this seat became open, the president of the Port Commission and several other people involved with the port asked me to run, and they asked me because I'm unusually well qualified for this post for a variety of reasons. Ports are really a public-private bridge focusing on economic development. I'm the only candidate who has significant background in running governments. I've been a city manager, and I've also run private businesses, and I work in economic development. I was head of the World Trade Center in both Tacoma and in San Francisco. And so I'm unusually well qualified for the position.
Thank you. Okay, the second question, we are going to begin with Rebecca. What are the top priorities you would address if elected?
One of the top priorities I would address is trying to get our business lines better. My understanding is that in a better position, because my understanding is at this point there's debt related to those business lines that's being underwritten by taxes, And I think that the business lines should be able to support themselves. There may be some other things the port does that need to be either subsidized through the business lines or through taxes, but the business lines themselves should be self-supporting. I think it's also important to strike a balance between environment and economic development, and I'm still learning on that issue, some of the nuances, but I think one of the things that makes me distinct, and I know that was only 2 issues, is that I see myself as kind of the outsider candidate. I'm not beholden to special interests. I'm not a political insider. I'm just here. I want to serve my community, and that's what I got.
Okay, thank you. Anthony?
Things I'd focus on, very much trying to improve the port's bottom line, as well as balancing that with environmental concerns, of course. The fastest way to do that is through increasing the throughput at the marine terminal, and that's going to be very challenging this coming year with the tariffs that have been introduced. But again, I'm in an unusually good position to do that. I have helped expand trade substantially with other places, and in growing economic development, I think we can do a lot of that through attracting foreign direct investment into this area. And again, that's something that I have a significant background in doing. I think also we can focus on electrification of a variety of different things at the port as well.
Thank you. Krog?
Okay, so the 3 main priorities facing the port are going to be an effective response to climate change, the Deschutes Estuary Restoration Project, and obtaining agreement from the stakeholders on the future of both the seaport and the airport. I think that in order to make those things happen, we have to improve the communications between the general public and the Port Commission in its policy-making process. We have to make them feel that they are more a part of that process, that what they say makes a difference to what the port actually decides. And so that's something that I'm going to really make sure that I serve as a conduit for making those kinds of things happen. In terms of improving the bottom line, one of the things that we're going to have to do is transition to something different than logs, exporting logs for the seaport.
Thank you. Okay, we are going to begin with Anthony. The third question is, given the port mandate of bringing economic development opportunities for Thurston County, what other areas of economic development might you propose?
Well, there are a variety of things, and with the existing development that is taking place, such as the Panettone development that has already been approved, that's being built on spec, or speculatively, so they don't have a tenant right now. I think we should work with Panettone very proactively in trying to not just have it be a warehouse, but it could also be light industrial. So those jobs would pay much more than warehouse jobs. And bringing family wage jobs to the airport area, to the seaport area, and to all the real estate holdings of the port would all be very important going forward.
Okay. Krog, I can also repeat the question if you would like.
Okay.
Okay. Given the port mandate of bringing economic development opportunities for Thurston County, what other areas of economic development might you propose?
I'm going to broaden that question a little bit by drawing upon Mike Reed's definition. Mike Reed is the economic director for the port, and he talks about economic development, but he also talks about community development. And I'm going to say that the port is equally responsible for community development as it is for economic development. Community development doesn't necessarily mean a actual economic gain, but it is something that broadens the activities that are available for people in the community, and it makes them feel that they are much more a part of the port and are beneficiaries of the port and its services, rather than just serving particular businesses or particular yacht owners or airplane owners.
Thank you. Rebecca, do you need me to repeat the question?
I think I got it.
Okay.
So I'm kind of in the brainstorming phase with this one, but I think it would be nice if there was more event space in the Olympia area for like larger events. I know like Seattle has, well, obviously they have Lumen Field, they have all sorts of big stuff. We probably don't need anything quite that big, but there's limited space for like major events in Olympia area, so that would be nice if there was something like that that could be developed. I don't know if that's possible at this point or not, or if we need to grow more before we get to that point, but that was one idea I've kind of had kicking around in the back of my head. It also would be nice if we could somehow bridge, there seems to be kind of this competition, maybe in some ways, I don't know if competition is quite the right word, between environmental needs and economic development needs. If we could somehow bridge that to have like an environmental, I don't know, space that could also attract people. That's a vague idea.
Okay. Thank you, Rebecca. The next question, we're going to start with Krog. How might the port collaborate with the other local jurisdictions on their comprehensive plans?
I think that this is a real important thing for the port to do. It's the only way that comprehensive planning is going to be effective and successful is if all of the local jurisdictions are working together. Something that I have heard from Liada Dolhoff, who's running for she's on the current commissioner of Tumwater, and she's running for mayor of Tumwater now. And she said that she was really excited by the interlocal agreement that was in the works between the port of Olympia and Tumwater, but unfortunately it was not approved, largely because of the previous executive director, Sam Giboney's actions. So she would like to work with the port, and I would like to work with her on making sure that we do develop those interlocal agreements.
Okay. And Rebecca?
I support, in principle, having more communication in interlocal agreements. I know that there's some, mainly at least around environmental issues between Olympia and the port as they deal with global warming, sea level rise issues, as well as that Tumwater is working with the port, I guess, on some endangered species petition thing. But I think having more interlocal input and coordination is probably a good thing on overall how do we want to develop this community, because there are multiple stakeholders. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Anthony?
Yes, I speak city in that I spent 6 years as a city manager. Last week, I spent most of that time at the Association of Washington Cities Conference in Kennewick, because I still work with cities right now with my own economic development and public policy consultancy. So very engaged with city issues, and I understand city needs. With the comp plan, the economic development chapter of the comp plan is relatively new. And so with the port being an economic development agency, that's the area where we should focus on them, with them the most. The port has a challenge of having a very small staff, but we should work very closely with Tumwater and Olympia, where the port has large standings, or large holdings, but with all the cities on the economic development aspect of their comp plan.
Okay, thank you. The next question, we are beginning with Rebecca. What role might the port have in addressing homelessness?
I think that by growing the economy, hopefully a healthier economy will provide more development, more including housing development. I'm not sure that that's a primary focus of the port directly, but I think indirectly there could be things that contribute to, it's all part of a healthy healthy social environment, healthy economic environment.
Okay. Krog?
The homelessness is a very big question, and it's something which traditionally ports don't have a lot of say in. They do not provide housing, except that some ports do. There are some ports which have specifically made housing a part of their mission, partly because they realize that in order for a successful economy, workers have to have places to live that are affordable. However, to address homelessness, we need low-income housing availability. There are some places in the port's property in Tumwater which could possibly be rezoned from industrial and commercial to become residential so that some low-income housing could be provided. That's something that Tumwater has to agree to because they're in charge of the zoning for that area, and they might not want to lose the industrial commercial lots.
Okay, thank you. And I apologize, I did do that out of order. Anthony, if you can go ahead and answer that question.
Very well. I agree. Homelessness is a huge problem in Thurston County, and while it certainly is not a focus for a special purpose district like the Port of Olympia, really cities and counties are the general purpose government that work with homelessness. We should work with our city and county brethren on how to address that. And while there has been talk of more housing around the airport, I also work closely with the city of Des Moines. They're under the flight path in SeaTac. Housing by airports isn't a good idea. And that's a great place for commercial and industrial land. It is not a great place for housing.
Okay, thank you. Anthony, we are going to go back to you for the final question. How can the port incorporate climate and environmental issues in their decisions regarding development of port property?
Well, in a variety of different ways, but I think one thing that we should one thread that we should have in all of our development projects around port property and port initiatives is electrification. I think we should be moving beyond fossil fuels whenever possible, and I think the Port of Olympia can be a leader in that. And with my time as head of the Economic Development Committee, we're already being a leader on that. Many of you might have seen the foil ferry, the electric foil ferry that was at the Port of Olympia last month. I was involved in getting that here. I think we should have solar energy, solar panels on all port buildings, and also electric vertical takeoff and landing aircraft at the airport.
Thank you. Krog.
Well, this is a really big issue, and so I'm going to try to do it justice. First of all, there are certain areas, such as the Port Peninsula, where there should not be any major construction. We should not be putting in more warehouses or office buildings because of the threat of sea level rise and flooding during storm events. The second reason for not building on the Port Peninsula is because of the fill. This is an area which is very prone to what they call liquefaction, which is basically where the ground turns to gel and pretty much just kind of consumes whatever structures are built on it. So we need to look at converting the Port Peninsula from structures to parklands. We need to make it a place where people can access the water for doing water recreation. And that's what I'm going to try to make happen.
Okay, and Rebecca.
So I see at least three that come to my mind, issues are that in which the port affects the environment or the environment affects the port. One is the sea level rise issue. And obviously being aware of that with what we do or don't develop and how we develop, if we develop, on the Port Peninsula in particular. The second one is some of the areas are impacted by species that are considered endangered, so we have to at the very least comply with Endangered Species Act laws, and also just being aware that we don't drive species to extinction or anything crazy like that. And then the one that I also wanted to mention is just pollution. We have areas that already are polluted. We want to hopefully avoid further pollution and contain the pollution that already exists as far as toxic waste. So those are the three issues that come to mind.
Okay, thank you. You now have 1 minute for a closing statement, and we are going to begin with Krog.
Okay, as a park commissioner, forging partnerships with Thurston County, with cities, tribes, labor unions, small businesses, federal and state agencies, the public and other stakeholders is paramount. While leveraging my experience coordinating diverse groups, obtaining funds, and integrating science with policy, I will support creating good jobs, providing opportunities for small businesses, and protecting the South Puget Sound watershed. I will focus efforts on effectively responding to threats posed by climate change. I will work with local, tribal, state, and federal governmants for a successful Deschutes estuary restoration, and I will do all I can to ensure that everyone participating in shaping the port's future so that the port is a source of pride for all of us. Thank you for all of your interest in these issues and concerns, and with your support, we can make our vision a reality.
Okay, Rebecca.
I look forward to hopefully serving the public as a port commissioner, if that's what the public chooses in this election, and I ask for your votes. As far as issues, I think we've addressed a lot of the issues. I want to make economic development happen, but at the same time be mindful of the environment and be mindful of our own budget and responsibilities so that we're not relying on taxes for things that are benefiting individual businesses and should be covered by like leases and stuff like that that should be paying for themselves. And that's what I got.
Okay, Anthony.
Thank you, Belly. Thank you for watching. I ask for your support and your vote in this primary. Please go to hempsteadforport.com for more information about me and the campaign. But you have a very clear choice in this election. And again, I'm the only choice there that has substantial government, private business, and economic development experience. People who know the port well and understand what it needs to thrive are the ones who encouraged me to run and have endorsed my campaign. All 5 of the existing port commissioners have endorsed my campaign. I'm also the only candidate who has substantial support from both Democrats and Republicans. This includes Congresswoman Marilyn Strickland and statewide Democrats, elected officials like Dave Upthegrove, Mike Pelliciotti, Chris Reichdahl, and Republicans like Kim Wyman, Sam Reed, Bill Bryant, and J.T. Wilcox. If you want a subject matter expert with experience in doing what the port needs, I'm your candidate. Thank you.
Thank you to Krog, Anthony, and Rebecca for participating in this candidate forum. We thank our partner, TC Media, for producing and airing it. We are indebted to TC Media for years of making these forums happen and educating the voters. TC Media is a nonprofit organization dedicated to making media production accessible to all. They are committed to providing our community with access to professional media production, education, and content creation resources. Your support helps provide studio space, equipment, and education for creators in our community. To donate to TC Media's work or to become a member, visit tcmedia.org. The League of Women Voters of Thurston County is a nonprofit, nonpartisan civic organization that encourages informed and active participation in government. We work to increase understanding of major public policy issues and influence public policy through education and advocacy. To learn more about our work, support us with a donation, or to become a member, please visit our website at lwvthurston.org. We encourage all of our viewers to be a voter in the upcoming election on August 5th, 2025. Each vote counts. Ballots for overseas military personnel were mailed on June 20th, and all other ballots will be available on July 16th. You may register to vote up to Election Day. Thank you for watching this 2025 Primary Candidate Forum.